Welcome back on deynonmod. Today I want to propose you a video about the comparison about paints. Here we have the new gamma of the key, the washes, that will go to compare with the Citadel color shades. Here it's quite important about this comparison for different reasons. First of all, anyway, remember that this bottle has the same quantity of content, so it's 18mm each, so it's not something that it's more or less. And about the shape of the bottle, remember that you have to choose eventually which one you prefer, because here you have that it's more accessible to put, so you can take directly from the bottle and put on the model or so on. Otherwise, remember that these tend to flip, and I lost quite a lot of Agrax shade in the years because it tend to move out by itself. Okay, instead here we have the dropping method, so it's something that you put on eventually on the web palette and then you use, so it's a bit different. And the advantage of this instead is that it's more easy to finish the color, because here you have that you can eventually shake and anyway reach the bottom. Instead here it's more difficult to reach and finish completely the bottle itself, but at the same time you don't risk to lose the content. So it's a different way for having this option, but it's up to you eventually. Anyway, the bottles usually are better these ones, but not so bad these eventually. And the most important reason it's about the price, because here we have that this bottle of shades cost €6.30 when I'm registering this video, and I can find them discounted at €5.85. Instead, about the AK washes, it's €2.95 that I can find them discounted on €2.80. It means that two bottles of this are equivalent in price to one of the Citadel one. So it will be up to you decide if it's worth or not. But my comparison it's about the tonality, if it's really compatible as we've seen in the table comparison. I chosen these ones because they are the two that I use most, because they are the Agrax Shade and the Druchii Violet. And to make them the comparison, I choose for the Agrax Shade the table compared the Rotwood Brown, and for the Druchii Violet the Invocation Purple. About this, it's quite important because it has been changed for the shades, the tonality, they are gloss now. So I'm quite curious to see if these are equivalent to the old one, because sincerely I'm quite reticent to use, for example, the Agrax Shade, not to finish it, and so eventually to have a really good alternative it would be much better to save money and eventually also to have the type of color that I need. So it's really quite interesting. To do the comparison, I created these ones that are based in MDF here, that are covered in Snow Vallejo. In such a way, it's really quite a nice white that I can put, so that we'll have half of the base that will be in Agrax Shade and half in the Rotwood, and the other one it will be in half the Druchii Violet and half it will be the Invocation Purple. In such a way I will be able to see side by side how much they change. I'm also thinking about eventually create a graduation, so that for example I can separate in quarter, so that here we have the application after to put on the wet palette and having on it, and then instead having applied directly on it and then move out to see the concentration if it changes. Same about this, so put aside and then put or apply directly. So see about the concentration about the painting. I'm quite curious to see, so let's start. So let's see the final comparison. We can start with the brown. On the left we have the part about the Earthshade, and on the right the part about the Rotwood. About this I waited for both the bases a couple of days to be sure that it was completely dry, because when it was a bit wet it was much closer. But if we see, we can see a difference in tonality, and apply a bit more of the color, we can find that it's quite close. Still I can see the difference. So there can be a substitute, but it's not a complete color of substitute. So you can eventually try this thing, but you have to be conscious that it's not exactly the same. To make another comparison more, I used as comparison this one, that it's the skeleton horde from here, skeleton brown from the crystal world, to be sure that it was able to see the difference, and they are much closer anyway, so okay. Still you have to pay attention about such things. And more important, it's part about here the violet, because if you take the Druchii violet on the left and the Invocation purple on the right, here we can see that there are two completely different colors. If these are close, these ones are completely different. So it's not bad anyway, because I like and I want to use this for another project, but it's not the same at all. It doesn't arrive even closer. And I wanted also to make a more comparison, because I tried with the crystal wood ones. Okay, here at the center the color of the purple vanity. Instead on the left here we have this, that it's the garnet purple. And we can see that are completely different ones again, so they are not close anyway. So it was a way to see if I could substitute each other or so on, and have a more gamma of for comparison. So about these ones we can say that this it's close, even if not completely equal, but these ones are two different colors. Sincerely, about this I'm thinking about buying the one that it's the Rotwood as substitute for the Agrax. Instead, about here the Invocation purple, I'm thinking to buy these separately and still buy the Druchii violet, because they are two completely different colors, and I like all of them, because it's really suitable for different options that I have to paint. But remember that you can make a substitute, because simply you say, okay, I don't care, I like this. But if you want really a substitute one, it have to be the closest possible one. And here you can see that there are two different colors at all. It's worth anyway to buy, because I like how it's applied, I like the bottle, I like everything about these IK washes. But you have to be conscious that there are two different colors completely. So you have to decide if it's worth or not. It's the main part, because it's something that you are going to paint having an idea in mind. So let's talk in the comment what you think about. Are you interested about these AK washes that sincerely I find amazing? Or you are going to buy them all, or simply you are going to not care about the AK washes, or eventually try some other that are by themselves, and instead continue to buy the Citadel one, or vice versa. It's up to you to decide, but I'm quite curious what you think about. Anyway, from deynonmod it's everything. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell so to receive notification about new video, to comment under here about this video, or if you want to suggest me new videos. So I hope to see you again to the next time.